Hey yo, welcome back to Funzy guys.
What
We're
up?
here.
Yeah.
You got me, Jay Millie, you got Ben, you got Sacco, and today we have a very special guest. He's the creator of Frisbee Club. He's a handshake emoji merchant, self-proclaimed Mike on Hat creator, multiple second place finishes at Big Bass Open, 7,500 subscribers. We got Broderic on the
Let's
pod
go.
today.
Hey,
Yeah.
just to clear the air, I am not self-proclaimed hat on or Mike on hat. I have been told that by many
I mean,
creators.
I
So
honestly think that you did it first.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
true.
I
I
also
agree
just
with it,
invented the putter pouch for carts on tripod last week. So
dude. Yeah,
content
We saw.
creators,
I
just
saw
saying,
that
just
on
saying.
your Instagram story. I thought that was hilarious. But
Yeah.
real quick, what? Just give a brief overview of the content that you make in the disc golf space.
So I make mainly YouTube content. I would say it's a little more like PG-13, I guess I'll call it. Maybe not quite rated R, but like it's a little more. It's just fun disc golf content. I take disc golf very serious, but at the same time, like I've been playing for so many years, and it's been a part of. It was like a part of my childhood, and I grew up in it, and I just like think I see disc golf maybe a little bit different than a lot of people see it, and I just try and like share that mainly. I do like disc reviews, I do challenges, I do a little bit of everything, but I mean, I've only been doing it for just over a year now, so I'm still trying to kind of figure out exactly what I want to do. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's been fun.
yeah, dude. I mean, I think that Broad has one of the best like disc golf communities per se with the Frisbee Club in the space that I've
For
seen.
sure.
And so I think he brings a lot of value. And Nick's or Ben's got his mic on the
he's,
hat already.
Bro is
he's
strapped up and ready.
just
I'm
double
ready.
mic'd up here.
My mic's
I'm
on,
always
man.
All
ready.
right, let's roll.
I'm
That's
ready.
right.
All right. Well, here's the question. Sacco, are you wearing that denim button down? Because I wear that every single day of my life, other than when I'm disc golfing.
Dude,
Or
man called me out. I am actually wearing that.
Oh,
Dude,
really?
also
That's
last week
hilarious.
I got the Frisbee Club reach hanging up on the wall. Dude, we mean business here at Funzy.
Yeah, we do our research. We do our research for sure.
Yeah, I have it here. This is the sleeve of mine. It's right. It's ready to roll at any moment.
Yes.
Just pop it right on. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We should have all pulled up in a denim.
Dude, I'll
denim
pull up one
shirt.
right now. I got one right here.
Oh,
There was
Heck
this
yeah.
one guy, he tagged me on an Instagram reel, and he was like imitating my form, and he was wearing short shorts, white socks, Vans, and then he had a denim button down with like a camo like hat on.
that's
I
hilarious.
was like, respect,
That's
respect.
definitely. I would say that's your brand for sure. Most videos I see you in.
Yeah.
You got some
Yeah.
hat game too. I like your hats.
Yeah. That's what I noticed that right away with you. I was like, Jay Millie's got that hat game. Sacco too.
Yeah,
Ben
boy.
too, kinda.
yeah, yeah,
Ben the tackle shop hats I like.
yeah. We're the
Yeah.
hat boys as well as the Funzy crew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you want
exactly.
to, I
Always
don't know
ready.
if you want to take it up a level, you got to cut the collar off actually,
Ooh,
and just
Dude,
kind of over time, it gets a
let
little
it
like
fray.
frayed,
ah,
on
dude,
there.
Yeah.
I
And
can't do that. My mom, so this used to be my mom's from like the 80s, just like she just like artsy lady. So I'm like, dude, I can't.
Yeah.
I love it how it
It
is.
gives it. I feel like it gives it a little more of like a casual style, whereas when you have a
Dude, I like
collar,
it.
it's
I
like,
think it looks sick.
you know what I mean?
I dig
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Sacco, icebreaker, and then let's get into Pro Tour.
Let's get into it.
Yo, let's ice break it up real quick. Okay, comments. I want to hear about comments a little bit. So obviously we all put out content and we're faced with comments, good or bad, just on a
Ooh.
daily basis. I want to hear kind of like what is like a comment that has stood out to you that good or bad that you've received on whatever platform, and how do you handle comments whether they're good or bad?
Okay.
That's a good question.
Who's-
I'll take it first.
Hit
So
them with it.
I think I might have mentioned this on one of our other podcast episodes, but the one that the comment that I get the most or like notice the most recently over the last, I don't know, 6 or 10 months or whatever is the comment that compares me to Ryan Trahan, which if you don't know who Ryan Trahan, I'd be shocked. He's a prominent YouTube creator.
All right, I'm a
And I
poser
take
because I don't actually know who Ryan Trahan
Oh
is.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He has a lot of subscribers. He's a big YouTube guy.
Yeah,
and
word.
I would say that like when I started out, he was like a someone I like took a lot of inspiration from. And I was like, if I got those comments that were like, "Oh, you're like Ryan Trahan," I was like, "Yes, love that." But now, I'm like a little more established and been doing it for a little bit longer, and I see those comments, I'm like, "Dang, like, yeah, it's cool that I'm like Ryan Trahan, but I want to be like Jay Millie now. Like I want to have my own brand, my own like style of things, and people don't see me and think of someone else. They see me and think of me. Like I'm sure maybe that'll happen over the next couple of years, but that's the comment that gets me the most nowadays. Is like someone comments like, "Oh, this guy's just like disc golf Ryan Trahan," and I used to love it, and now it's like, I want to be disc golf Jay Millie, not disc golf Ryan Trahan.
Dude, first time I meet you, that's the first thing that I'm saying.
Yeah, first time we hang out in person.
Yo, Ben, Brod.
Ben, you go. I'm not ignoring. I'm trying to find a screenshot. Okay?
Yeah, no, I'll go.
I can't wait.
Yeah, for me, I haven't really got any hate comments on my personal channel. It's mostly on Staggered Stance because I don't know. There's a lot of polarizing opinions on Staggered Stance sometimes because we give takes on the Pro Tour that sometimes people don't agree. But the only one that I've gotten, it's just like I used to have like moving backgrounds and people would just say like it's Ben's distracting or something like that. So I haven't really got anything like too crazy. But what I normally do sometimes I normally do this is I just respond back. And not in like in a bad way where it's like, bro, like you're an idiot. It's more in like I like to humanize myself way where it's like someone can say like, you suck, dude, and I'll be like, sorry you feel that way, man. I'm just trying my best. And then almost 10 times out of 10 they're like, oh, like I don't know if you've ever seen that. They always backtrack where it's like, oh, like, like I didn't really mean that. Good job. Keep doing your thing. So I sometimes enjoy doing that. If I get like a hate comment that kind of bugs me. But yeah, the hate comments sometimes do bug me. I will admit to it. It definitely bugs me sometimes, but I also love the love comments. So it's a best of both worlds thing.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why they comment that in the first place. If they just like backtrack all of a sudden when they're met with you on the other side. Yeah, it is odd. Oh, yeah. Dude, we are denimed out.
Dude, I went to a real estate sale and I have a Looney Tunes one where it's like all the Looney Tunes characters like just like mix and matched up and I can't find it. And I want to show it off. It's a sick thing, but I got Lunker City, so because all I do is catch big lunkers.
This is my wife's.
You've got your wife's. I've got my mom's.
I think the best part about them is that like they're all these like they're vintage and then they're just random like this is what people used to wear for like work uniforms.
Yeah.
All of mine have some like random brand on them that's just like completely random. I don't know.
I dig it,
dude.
They're perfect too because you can get your Frisbee Club embroidered shirt and then it just sticks right out. You know what I mean? It's perfect.
Subtle plug.
I got it right now.
There we go.
For sure. Yo, Brod, you got that screenshot?
So I was trying to find it. I mean, so there's this guy. I'll call him out right now. Misha Ostrovsky 3668 on YouTube.
We're getting crazy.
He hasn't commented in a while. I found his last comment he ever commented. He said, "You don't clickbait." I don't really know what that refers to. That was kind of like a compliment, but he said, "Peace. Better luck on your next venture. Unsubbed."
Oh.
So, that was his last ever comment. I haven't heard from him since, but he was the type of dude who would like comment on every single video of mine. Maybe not every single, but like a lot of my videos. And it was the most hateful, negative, like things ever. But it's weird because I mean, I thought it was hilarious. Like it kind of like everyone, you'd read it and you'd be like, well, I'm going to delete my channel. But then right after that, you're like, all right, this is actually the funniest thing ever. Regarding like the comments, I'm probably like kind of Jay Millie touched on, I'm very lucky to have probably one of the like most engaged fan bases in terms of like percentage of engagement for like your followers, I guess. Um, when I had like maybe 1,000 subscribers, I was pulling like 100 comments on videos, and it was like insane. Which it kind of sucks because I've 7x'd my subs, but like the comments are the same. But that kind of makes me think it's like the same people that have been there from day one. But so I'm maybe like an anomaly almost where I used to have somewhat more. I feel like share my opinion about like disc golf or like the pro circuit, you know, like the pro tour, like a little bit more. But I honestly, I could probably count the negative comments I've got over my disc golf YouTube like career on my hands and feet. You know, like there's probably like 20 comments to be completely honest. And the ones, most of them are just about my shorts being too short and my nose ring. But I took the nose ring out a few days ago so I could wash my face better, you know, exfoliate. I just haven't put it back in, but but that's what most of them are. But to be honest, I've talked to so many creators of like, man, like the comments just like get me. And I totally understand that because I have a few here and there. But I'm like, man, I'm lucky because, you know, I'll get like 50 comments on a video and like 49 of them are just like the most positive things ever.
That's awesome.
And I'm just, it honestly like makes no sense. I don't understand it. Sometimes I'll go to like, you know, on YouTube, there's like the held for review. I'm like, oh, there's got to be some people like really going in on me, but YouTube just didn't, you know, they didn't let them slide through yet. I got to go approve them. Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, like, hey, you know, it must be doing something halfway right, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's funny. But also the one comment out of the 49, I think sometimes like I do focus a little too much on it, but
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is.
Hey, man.
I also did for maybe like the first year of my YouTube, I replied to every single comment.
Oh, dang.
I might have missed like one like per video. You know, like maybe someone comments on a video like 5 days after I posted it. Maybe I'll miss that one. But I would say within the first 48 hours, I would reply to every single comment that I ever got. So I don't know.
Maybe that's why you
Seen a
have
lot.
one of the strongest disc golf communities in the game. Who knows, dude? No, I in terms of hate comments, like, I mean, everyone gets hate comments. Like, no one is, you know, outside of hate comments because everyone is going to hate regardless of what you do. You know, you either make super fun comment or super fun content, or, you know, like whatever content you make, someone's going to not like it. And so they're going to comment about it. And so in terms of hate comments, I hate comments, but I kind of just like, I'm not going to change their mind if I respond, you know, like, all they're trying to do is get a rise out of me. And if I respond to it, they get what they want. So for the most part, or actually, I don't think I have ever responded to a hate comment. I have like, there have been times where I've like written something out, you know, like, blah, 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 and then I'm like about to hit send, and I'm like, wait a second, this is just like not even worth it in the slightest, because I just get so peeved about some of them. But honestly, like, since I've kind of tried to have a more like a better mindset about like, this is what they want that rise, they want me to like respond and be all mad about it. Now it's like I read it and it's like, okay, like, I know that's factually untrue, you know, move on. I'm gonna move on and not lose sleep over this, you know. It's not easy though.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't.
I've gotten like a handful.
You're good. Go ahead.
I've gotten like a handful of comments that are always like, "Brod, you look like a 1970s gym teacher." Like,
that's
for the
hilarious.
way I dress. And I'm like, I think they're just joking around. Like, they're not like saying it to be mean, but it's because like, I'm like, you're not wrong at all. Like,
that's a compliment.
But I'll take that as I know I take that as a compliment. I'm like, hey, thanks. Like,
yeah, dude.
I'll take
growing the mustache and then put on like a ton of sweatbands, just like way too many. Yeah, just fully embody.
Yeah, dude. I had long hair and a mustache for like my first maybe like 6 months of videos too. So it was even more back then, maybe.
Yeah, right. Okay, for myself, I remember when I first started getting into creating disc golf content, the very first comment I ever got, one person just said in all lowercase, "Form sucks." And that was it. That was the very first comment that I
Dude,
got.
that explains everything. Why
Is
you
that why
go
you work
so
on your form
hard?
so much?
That's
Actually,
why.
yeah, maybe we're getting to the bottom of this where I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show this one guy. So you know what? Actually, shout out to that guy.
Wait, no,
Uh,
actually, you should totally make like a short that's like this guy commented this like 2 years ago, and then like pop up a bunch of your like forum videos or whatever, and you're like,
mhm.
now look at me, or something silly like that. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. So
I do that kind of frequently where I'll screenshot comments and then put them over. I don't like make a I don't make a Sacco type reel out of it, but I just put it over a video that kind of pertains, and
mhm.
Yeah,
I enjoy it. They're more for me than
yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah, I
I've seen
recall
it happen before. Yeah.
I think I recall the one where there was the guy, like you were throwing the glitch around, and there was a guy that was just being like, obviously you don't throw it right because mine just burns over. Like, do you recall that guy?
Yeah.
Like, man, it's just making himself
I
look
think it might have
stupid.
been the spore. I
Oh,
think
it
it
was
might
the
have been the spore. And then I posted a video of me parking like a 300-foot hole with it 2 times in a row. And I was just like, I don't know what you want me to say, man.
Oh, that's amazing.
Hilarious.
That's amazing. And then I think it was like 2 months later. So like to like backtrack a little bit. So Disc Golf Bra back in the day was doing like a March Madness bracket thing that I had touched on, I think like the first episode.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
when I decided to be like, okay, I'm gonna try to do like funny content, I suppose. And then I made one that was called Every Disc Review or something like that. And that I think that's still like my most watched reel ever. And like Gannon Burr commented on it and said, this is the best video I've ever seen. And I think from that moment on, that's kind of what it's like, okay, that like now I know that I'm doing at least something half decent because I don't know about you guys, but you'll make something and you'll be editing it for so long that you'll get like detached from it and you're like, is this even good anymore? So, you know, it always feels good every now and again to like get some sort of feedback on something and just be like, okay, so I'm not just like in my head about this.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. I like to just be kind to them. And then they're
Right.
like, oh, how
Yeah,
could
I don't
you?
I don't think that anyone that is happy is making comments that are like putting down others on like social media per se.
No.
So obviously
Yeah.
they're like going through something, I would imagine.
It's literally it's simple as it just makes them feel more secure about themselves because they can project their insecurities on someone else.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's just what's happening.
What you should
Mhm.
do from now on is if someone like gives you a hate comment, you should just like respond with the most sad response ever. You know, like,
Like
oh,
crying.
Good
actually,
comment.
yeah, like I agree, and also my dog died yesterday, and like it's crying emoji, and just see if like they
Yeah. That's
completely are like,
amazing.
oh, dude, I'm so sorry.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, but same with you guys. I luckily haven't had much hate. It's literally just like sometimes. I can't even think of the last one on Stagger Stance. I don't even know. I think it was just like Ben's annoying or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Something
exactly. It like doesn't really cut too deep.
No, not at all.
Word.
I think everyone who makes content is a little bit annoying, though. That's kind of part of it.
Of course.
Like-
Of course.
At
you
least-
kinda,
At least to
kinda
someone,
have to be
totally,
a little
totally.
bit.
Mhm. All right.
Sick.
Part of the game.
Good question, Sacco. Good icebreaker.
Hey, I'm gonna keep them coming
He's
if
the
I can.
icebreaker,
We'll see how
man.
long I can do it. Is this when we
Sick.
or is this
Yeah,
when
let's
we
do
get
Pro
into like
Tour.
Disc Golf Pro Tour?
All right,
Okay.
let's get to the
Let's
Pro
do it.
Tour. All right, cool. So I just have this recap's gonna be a little quicker because it was just kind of like random obscure events. I know it was a DGP Elite Series in Copenhagen, but do you guys know if it was on the Disc Golf Network like live?
It was.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
cool.
was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's awesome, first off. But yeah, I was playing in a tournament all weekend, so I wasn't able to see it. But so Jesse Niemanen takes down his first Elite Series at the DGPT Copenhagen Open. So that was pretty cool. It counted as Elite Series, whatever you want to say. That the field was weak. He's an Elite Series winner officially. And after the second round, we saw Yuli actually in second, one stroke back, and he had the opportunity to squeak out the win. So my question to you guys, I guess not related to the event, but kind of, are we going to see more pros go overseas as the years go by to get an Elite Series win? And do you think the field's going to get more and more stacked to get that win, because a perfect example, Jesse Neiman, like I just said, he's an Elite Series winner officially, even though it could have been the field definitely was not as strong, but he officially is. So do you think like a Paul Yuli or like some of these people that want an Elite Series event are gonna start going over more and more and get the competition or the field stronger over the next few years?
Yeah, I can start because I guess I went last in the last one.
Go ahead,
So
brother.
yeah, shout out to my ginger brother for like chalking one up for the gingers. I think it's inevitable that more and more pros will be going over to Europe, especially as money increases. And the European Open, Worlds is at European, like the European Open, right? Next year. Yeah. So
At the
yeah.
course, yes, it's not the
Well,
European
yeah.
Open, but yes, it's
Right.
at Nokia, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like that'll end up being the catalyst that starts having like more and more people go over to Europe. That, and when they see like if no offense to Jesse, but if Paul Ulibarri did win, people would be like, wow, okay, he just got his first Elite Series win. I kind of want to do that, and then I think more people financially able to do that will make their way over there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be more of like I don't know. Like I think the motivation there is like, yeah, I can get an Elite Series win with a weaker field. But I also think what's going to happen is I mean, Sacco kind of touched on it, but I think the money is going to make more sense. Like I don't know, like I think I idealize in my head, but I think that disc golf's on a trajectory. So like payouts start getting more, sponsors start putting more in. Like if it makes sense for the player to go there financially, they're gonna go, you know? So like if the sponsor's gonna pay entry fee, pay travel, you know, and then you're gonna cash and make money doing it, it's like why not go? And so that's more of what I think is gonna happen, is just gonna make more sense over the next few years, where like going to Europe for events is going to be normalized, and then sponsors are just going to make it happen, you know, as long as there is like the support there, because there's a lot of people that play disc golf over in Europe, and like I would say like a lot of the pro pool is consolidated to the US. If like a brand like Hooligan wants to step into a European market, they need to sponsor a player that is either a European or someone who is going to play on the European circuit, you know? And so like that, I feel like that is a big factor that will come into play for like people going on tour in Europe as well as in the US.
Mm.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we got in FBO, can't forget, Evelina Salonen takes it down, making it her second Elite Series win. And she has a major, so 3 wins on the tour this year, which honestly, I know I've said it before, how she's supposed to be the second coming, the next GOAT last year, and then kind of just never showed up. But it's honestly great to see the Europeans start to take shape in what we expected of them last year, all the hype, because I remember, or was it might have been 2 years ago, I remember everyone was like saying like Evelina Salonen number 1, Henna Blomroos number 2, and then Paige Pierce number 3 in the world. Like that, before they came over, that was a huge thing where everyone was saying like they were number 1. And then obviously they didn't live up like to expectations, but now they are, which is awesome. Which I want to kind of put it on you. What do you guys think about kind of Evelina? Is it the year of Evelina? Are her putting woes ever? Are her putting woes over? What do you think? What do you think you see promising from Evelina that you haven't really seen before?
Did you guys see how she won the tournament? Because it's actually pretty like impressive.
Oh, the eagle on
So
18 to push the playoff.
yeah, so
Yeah, I
she
know it's pretty
eagled
close.
18 and hit a circle 2 putt to tie it. The putt did like hit branches and still go in. So like obviously it went in. That's the result. And it was from circle 2. So you can't knock it. But I think like if Evelina had just won, like beat the field by like 5 strokes, you're like, well, yeah, she just threw the disc better than everybody, which is kind of the normal thing. And if she just wins, but the fact that she hits this putt on 18, and then I don't know how she won in the playoff. I didn't see if she had to like make a putt or anything, but I think probably mentally she's in a better place than ever. At least thinks the putts are going in. Um, physically, her I'll say it. I don't think her putt looks any better. It might actually look worse in terms of like the wobble on it and everything like that. But it goes in. That doesn't necessarily mean it's like a bad thing. It just still, I think, looks completely uncomfortable. At Where did she putt out? Did she win like 2 or 3 events ago?
Champions
Yeah.
Cup. So
It,
last event, right? Was that the last event?
oh yeah, yeah. So when she putted out like her like 7-footer to win, it wasn't like it looked like it was a pretty bad putt, to be completely honest. Like it was pretty high and off to one of the sides, but it went in. That's the thing. I think if she can get to a point where clearly her mental game at least is like, hey, they're going in now. You can at least think that. If she can really like clean up the putt, I think Evelina and Kristen will just be like here, then everyone else will pretty much be here. Henna, I think, could join the party too if she figured out the putt. But I think they're they are like FPO right now. Like they're they I mean, European players have always looked more professional, which is, I think, a great thing. Like, I think they dress better. They're always decked out in like Nike with all the best logos and everything like that, which, isn't the most important thing, but I do think it is in terms of like growing the sport. And I don't know. I love to see it because just personally for me, the FPO players, like they pass the eye test for me in terms of just like athleticism and like how they look. And so I would much rather watch a card of like if you gave me a card of like Kristen, Evelina, um, Henna, and like Lucky Lorenzen, that's like eye test for an outside viewer. That's who I'd want on an FPO card.
Yeah,
For sure.
That's a great point because I like how you said, unless you, Jamie or Sacco, you got anything on that?
I think he hit it.
Yeah,
Cool.
same deal.
So yeah, I was actually gonna transition straight into Leke. She won another European, won FPO, for the Las Vegas Challenge, and she's been solid this year. She's coming into her own spotlight. We kind of always known about her, but it was never like, oh, she could win it. But now I'm starting to be team Leke or Like. We'll go Like. Because she got 4th at Texas State's, 5th at Jonesboro, and those are her 2 top 5 finishes pretty recently. And now she just takes down the Las Vegas Challenge. I think, like you said, the Europeans are here to stay, and they are making some noise, and it's really cool to see. Like Leke, especially, she was kind of like off everyone's radar. And you knew of her. I knew of her because Gannon Burr loved her putters, her Tour Series putters. So he's like, the Lickett putters. So that's how I actually first found out about her. And I was like, oh, so then I started paying. But yeah, she's definitely making a name for herself, which is incredible. And then one more thing, Connor Rock takes down the Las Vegas Challenge in MPO. So he's been averaging 65th place this entire Pro Tour season. He's doing the full-time tour, and he takes a huge upset win at the Las Vegas Challenge against a stacked field that included Gannon Burr, Calvin Heimberg, Ricky, Isaac, and many more elite players. It was basically could have been like if there's Silver Series last year, this basically could have been or if this was a Silver Series, like there was a Silver Series last year, it basically could have been a Silver Series with how stacked the field was. So what do you guys thoughts about that of Connor or Likey, if you have any opinions on that? It's pretty cool to see him get the upset.
I think I've seen Connor play in person like a couple times. He might be taller than Gannon.
What?
Like he's a very tall guy. At least maybe like they're both probably like what 6'4", 6'5".
This man seizes in the discos 500 feet.
That's what I'm saying. Basically, Connor slings the disc, but it's also interesting because he has a very up and bumped my mic. He has a very like up and down, lofty, slow putt, and I always think it's weird when the guys with these crazy leverages don't putt fast. Like Albert Tom comes to mind as well, a dude who's like 6'5" but has like the slowest putt ever. And I'm always like, man, if I was 6'5", I would just stretch my arm out and sling it in like Gannon. But no, like Connor's he's a very good player. Crazy to see him take down this field because, like you said, I mean, plenty of top players in the sport were there. And for a player like him, it probably sucks that it is just an A tier because for sponsors and stuff, I think obviously bonus structures and everything, it's like he won the biggest event of the weekend, but it might like not matter as much as, you know, the European event just because it's called an A tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Well, it's interesting to look at the fields for both events. I'd be interested to see like the average rating for the players on each event because you look at the Las Vegas Challenge like field, and you might almost make the argument that it was stronger than the Elite Series at Copenhagen because I mean, maybe that's just like I know the names of the U.S. players and I
Yeah.
don't really know the names of the European players.
There'd be
So-
a way to check that. I'd have to ask Evan from Statmando, or formerly Statmando, or
It'd be
whatever the
interesting to
situation
see.
is now.
Yeah. But
Really,
no, I mean, I think it's really cool because Gannon had like a 7-stroke lead after round 2, right? And then
Connor shot a 14
yeah,
down to win.
man.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
1080 rated round, almost 1100. Wild.
It is weird because this weekend was essentially like tournaments, like Pro Tour tournaments past, because we had De La Viega and then we had Las Vegas.
Yeah, I saw that too.
It's just
303
very bizarre
Open as well.
Right. It's just very bizarre to see
Yeah.
all of these happening simultaneously and the field split
Yeah.
amongst those. So it kind of makes you
Totally.
wonder if that's going to be the future of the Pro Tour.
Is that how
Yeah.
it is in regular golf? I have no clue.
I have no idea. Not a golf boy.
We're not regular golfers. We're
I just
disc
didn't know like
golfers.
if golf has like only one event or if it's like sometimes they do something like this because this was a unique weekend with so many big tournaments. It wasn't
pretty
just like
sure-
one tournament.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm pretty sure if it's like the PGA, I'm pretty sure it's
Uh-huh.
just events just like the Elite Series where it's different events. Some mean more than others, obviously, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's. I don't think they have multiple events. I could be wrong. I'm not
I think
golf boy.
I think with the PGA how it works is like there's like the main season of all the big events that like the top guys play, but I'm pretty sure like the golf season technically never stops. Like it goes all year. So maybe in the like winter months I'd assume there's like the lower level guys are still playing all the events. Those wins just obviously don't mean as much, but they're still probably making $1 million. So
Yeah.
like, you know, you gotta
Yeah.
get that bread.
Those lower guys
So,
are still making more than
I think that's how it
our
kind of
top
works.
guys. No, that would make sense. It's just interesting. I wonder if it will like. I wonder if we'll see the Las Vegas Challenge or De La Viega back on the Pro Tour next year, or if they're kind of done for, or whatever. You know.
I'd say De La Viega's done for.
I think that's just a issue with the cell signal, right? Isn't it like nearly impossible to live broadcast out at De La?
I'm not
Like,
sure.
It's
In my personal opinion, I think it's just the course. It's kind of like weird and like the spectator, because we to get more
Yeah.
money in the sport, we need spectators. We need people watching the sport. We
Mhm.
need these huge, like I know, like Simon always talks about how he rather have like a course that can accommodate a bunch of people rather than like a course that's like super wood or super cool, because that's where the sport's going, where you know that brings more money into the sport. So I think that's the main reason. I think it's just like I've never been to De La Viega, but it looks like you're just playing up huge sideways hills, and the parking's probably not the best. But yeah, I wouldn't see it coming on the tour ever again personally. But as for Las Vegas, I think it definitely could happen. I'm not sure, but you know, we saw Beaver State Fling get off the tour, then now it's an Elite Series, so it worked its way back up. So
Yeah.
it's all in the hands of Jeff Spring, and his staff. So if he decides this is where we want to go, but Olympus start, I don't think it's going to start because Olympus, I think, is the course. I think they're going to stay there for the foreseeable future. Is what I think.
Yeah.
And speaking of De La Viega, just to wrap it up, I'll just do these ones briefly. So we had the Santa Cruz Masters Cup happened, and Ezra Robinson takes it down in MPO, and Owen Scoggins takes it down in FPO. And then we also got the 303 Open in Colorado. Thanks for the comment, Jamie Lee. In Colorado at Beaver Ranch. And Aaron Gossage takes it down for MPO. And Holly Finley takes it down for
That was a
FPO.
Q series, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
I wonder who
yes.
got the tour
Which is
card.
it's interesting to see that like Gossage still went and like, you know, gets the win. And because that was a big question, kind of, I feel like when they announced that is like, okay, they're doing this for qualification to the Pro Tour, but are pros still gonna, like, Gossage was probably just home during the break and figured, hey, why not go make $3,000?
Yeah, I mean it's
know.
still it's still a good
You know?
payout, which I think it's
Yeah.
like I'm actually playing the Austin Q series in 2 weeks.
Whoa!
And
Let's go.
Qualify.
or I guess it's next weekend. It's next
Oh!
weekend.
Better prep, son.
Yeah, dude. Got to go putt a bunch so I don't get 80th, which I probably will. But I'm the field in that is like a bunch of pros as well, I think, last I looked. And it's like, I mean, it's still a couple $1,000s for first and trickles down too. I would be interested to see, like you said, like who is the guy that takes because I
I
believe
can answer it.
first place gets silver, and then you also get points for the end of the season.
I can
one
answer
as
it
well.
for you.
Yeah. Who is it?
So I don't know the person. It's just if you don't have a tour card, you don't get the points. I mean, if you have a tour card, you don't get the points. So say Aaron Gossage got first and the guy in second, I don't even know. I'd have to pull it up, but let's say the guy in
Joel
second.
Freeman.
Okay, so let's say it was Schmoll Neiman, not a man with a tour card.
Well,
He would
fourth
get,
place is a 991 player. So
there
I
you
bet
go.
that's
So
the
I
guy.
believe if he was the
There you
first
go.
one without the tour card, I'm pretty sure he would get the points because
Yeah.
you don't need to qualify. Like it wouldn't make sense for Aaron Gossage to get the qualifying points because he doesn't need to qualify. So whoever the top guy was would get the points, and then from there. So if you have a tour card, you can play the event, which I think is really cool. I think the way they did it was the correct way. It's like I want to see the
Mhm.
pros play these events, but yeah, they shouldn't get the points because they're already on tour.
I think it actually almost adds more pressure to the guys
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
qualify because it's like, you know, if you go to a Q series and everyone's 990 and below, a lot of 990 players are 990 rated because they also shoot 900 rated rounds.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
me.
So you could have the winner qualify for the Pro Tour by averaging something that like isn't really deserving of to get on the Pro Tour. But okay, you only lost to Gossage, you only lost to Joel Freeman by whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that like it actually shows like, yeah, you are
Like, yeah,
right
you
there.
could
Whereas when it's a
cash
bunch of
at
like,
a pro tour event. You wouldn't win it, but you could
yeah,
cash.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
So it kind of only is
Mhm.
because there are.
Yeah, I like it too. I am really interested though, like, because I believe the
Tour players
rule is
there.
like first place is supposed to get a silver Tour Series card, which like you don't get access to everything or like something next year. So like Aaron Gossage isn't getting that, and I mean you mentioned it, Ben. It probably falls to that guy, but then I don't know. I wish they were like more open with it or like
No,
publicized it more.
I'm pretty sure you get the they're playing for a gold like an actual tour card. I'm pretty sure you get there's like
In the finale,
I think if you win, if you
qual
win or,
for the finale.
So then I think if you win it, you get the so that's what you're saying. If you win it, you get the silver one automatically. But you're wondering if it's the fourth place guy gets that. So I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, like does it fall to him? And then on top of that, like the points, like I don't know. It's confusing. I like what they're trying to do, but I do think they need to do a better job of like just do an Instagram post and everyone sees it, or I don't know, like talk about it on Disc Golf Network or something, so it's like, oh, this is what they're doing and it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They have a
It's cool,
website
though.
on it.
Because if they don't make that post and let us all know, all they're gonna get is four dudes on a podcast
that
don't know what they're talking about it. So
Yeah,
I didn't even know it was a Q series.
Oh, there you go.
He definitely got the points. I just don't know if he got the silver. So someone's gonna have to let us know about that.
Well, I don't even know how you check the points, right?
Yeah, no, it's probably on. If I were to guess, Statmando is the one doing the points because now they're in with the PDGA. So
oh, I didn't know
I believe so.
When did that happen?
OJ Millie. OJ Millie.
You must not watch Staggered Stands.
Or the PDGA acquired Statmando for $1 million. No, I'm just kidding. That's.
Oh.
I was just joking. But they did acquire it. I don't know the price. They signed an NDA, so I have zero idea. But they did buy Statmando for some undisclosed amount, and they hired the 3 owners of Statmando to their staff. So I don't know if the deal was just they gave them like they paid for it and then they hired them, or if that was the deal. We'll hire you. I doubt that, but they definitely paid money for Statmando. I just don't know. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
the PDGA owns Statmando is no longer the guys who own Statmando.
Thanks for sharing. I had no clue.
Yes, sir. So I have the Q series thing pulled up right now. Let me just clarify some things. So it says placing in the top 2 FPO or top 3 MPO in the Q series standings gets you a 2025 tour card. Placing 3rd and 5th, there's a bunch of that to get you a tour card. Placing 1st or 2nd at the Q series finale, and then placing 3rd through 5th in FPO gets you a silver at the finale, and then placing 4th and 8th gets you a silver at the finale, and then winning a regular season DGPT Q series event also gets you silver. So I'm guessing you have to win it. I don't think it would go to that guy. I think he would get the points to go to the finale if he has enough points, but I don't think he would get it because he technically didn't win, in my opinion.
I feel like he should, though. I don't know.
I feel like you gotta win. I wouldn't give it to you if you didn't win. I mean, it's just like I get the points, but if you didn't win, then it doesn't.
I guess I'm biased because I'm playing, and if a pro beats me, I'm gonna be pissed if I don't get a tour card,
Yeah.
If I go out and play a Q series and freaking Paul Macbeth is the only person to beat me, and I don't get a tour card. No, that's not the argument.
He should make the tour.
Jay Millie takes 80.
That's not the argument. I guess that is the thing, though. Like, well, yeah. I guess you're right. I'm sure it has to be you only get the tour card if you win it.
And it makes them.
Makes
I think that's the most fair. At that point, you're just giving participation trophies. I think that guy is going to have to earn it by getting the points, which is cool. And then if he does win an event, then that's perfect. But if he just got it because he came in like 5th at an event, it would just feel like, like you don't really deserve to have that tour series card.
I mean, it's also not the full card though either. It's the silver.
Yeah, the silver one, which Anyways, off. Let's move off of that and go into the interview.
All right, Broderic time. Here we go.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
All right. You kind of already talked about yourself a little bit, but just general introduction. Go. Give us something that we don't know, personal Broderic stuff.
Oh gosh. Well, I've come to figure out lately, a lot of people think Broderic is my last name. And by a lot, not a ton, but people are like, "Oh, so what's your first name?" I'm like,
"Yeah, so what's your full name?"
On all of my channels without my last name on Broderic Dean Thompson.
Okay, so I thought I found your PGA. Are you 932 rated? Ooh.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that
just
probably
got
hasn't gone in
a
yet.
I just
I
updated
thought I
it because I
found it,
shot
but
like a 1021
I
rated
didn't know
round
your
a
full
couple weeks
name, so
ago.
I was like,
So I
I
had to
don't know if this
I
is
had to
him or
get
not.
current so I could
Yeah,
see where it
well,
bumped me up
once
to.
the
I
once
don't
the 10 rated
we'll
round
see.
comes in, your
We'll
actual
see where it
rating
goes.
is.
Yeah. So I'm not totally sure. The last
Yeah, just maybe from not playing
Do
or
you play in
something.
the
the
Sugda
last time I saw my
Tuesday
rating,
Fall
it was
League?
I think I was like 940, but I would
All right,
assume it went down from there since then, maybe. So probably
Oh
like
no.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, maybe
So I
that's
didn't
why
know that
you're
one
yeah,
was
not
sanctioned, and
940.
I played it
Yeah.
putting
yeah.
left-handed when I first started. When yeah, so that might have dropped me a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I literally when I
Yeah,
it
went
you shot a
counted
to
an
947
review,
880.
I
and an
saw that and I was like,
886.
I was
So,
like,
That's
what
what
is
got you right
this?
there.
I was like, I
and
don't even
that's
That's
know
what
what
and
got
this
you.
so in
is.
between
And it was
those
from
is
like
probably
this year. I was
923,
like,
which
what?
is your rating.
And then
I'm guessing, unless
Yeah.
you play a
But
lot of
that 1031 or
yeah,
10
that
whatever
sounds
you
about
shot
right.
will bounce you up, I'm sure.
That maybe makes sense.
Nice. Good
Yeah.
number. Good number.
No.
Cool. I guess I put you 2 on the spot. Here's a question for you.
Yeah, somebody told me
Here's a
it'll
question
give
for
Open
me
you.
up
to
hot and heavy.
969
Just
based on their
you kind of mentioned it
calculations,
earlier.
but
Walk
I
us
don't really
through
know.
disc
We'll
golf
see.
in your life. So when did you
Yeah.
start? How did you get into it? Like how is it
Yeah, I don't
honestly, how
know.
has it gotten
Gosh.
you to making content and what was that decision like?
Yeah. So I started playing disc golf in 5th grade. So I think 15 years ago right
Yeah.
now. My older brother, who's 4 years older than me, he started playing. He bought a DX Wraith and a Pro D Buzz.
Ooh.
I stole them, started playing, and I honestly don't know the time because back in 5th and 6th grade, you bike everywhere, at least in a small town in Minnesota. So I lived like golf
Ooh.
course, South Park Disc Golf. My buddy Ethan, who buddy James lived across the street from the disc golf course. My buddy Jordan lived maybe a minute 45. Group of friends, we just started playing disc golf. We'd play, it was a
Dang.
9-hole course. We'd play maybe like 10 rounds a day, like pretty much just loop. Like we'd loop through it all day and then we'd get hungry. We'd bike to the Taco Bell that was like, a mile away. We'd
There
get
you
Taco
go.
Bell. We'd get like a beefy 5-layer 89-cent burrito. We'd go to the Holiday, get a Arizona, quench our thirst, and then we'd head back for 5 more rounds. And and so that's pretty much like my oh yeah, and we also used to count our birdies. So on the back of your putter, you're
That's
only cool if you
legit.
tally every single birdie you got through that year. So just for you newbies out there, if you
Heck
Well,
want
yeah.
to really keep
I
Get
track of
I
your
wrecked,
always tell
nerds.
progress, start
people
tallying your
I always tell
birdies.
people that
Let's
like
make that a thing.
you get hooked
But
on disc golf. Like you got and play like a few times. Like you might not love it, but the second you get a birdie is when you get hooked. And so like how I feel like yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
first park
Yeah. Yeah.
job where you see like a 250 full flight DX
We're just
Leopard,
all
you're like,
chasing that feeling since that
what?
moment, you know.
Okay, okay. Yeah, and then for that first birdie, you have to
Mhm.
step putt from like 7 feet. You have to like walk it in,
Yeah.
like yeah, it has to be a little illegal. But so then basically just, I mean, honestly,
Mm,
like disc golf was. I played baseball and football also. They're like my main. Those are like my main priorities. But it was like go
yeah.
to baseball practice, and then as soon as that was done, go play disc golf. Go to football practice. As soon as that was done, go play disc golf. So I played. I don't even like. I'm not great at math, but thousands of rounds at this course growing up. I don't like a ton of them. And then throughout high school, played the local league a ton. And then back when I was maybe like 15 years old, I think, maybe 15, 14, my buddy Ethan, his mom,
Dang.
would drive us to courses like an hour away. Because at
Yeah.
this point we had played the local 9 hole. That's it for like probably 5 years or so. And so Ethan's mom would drive us to courses up in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and she would sit there
What a
and read a
legend.
book the whole time. Like, you know what I mean? Like we would just play probably two rounds. And she brought us to this shop called Midtown Disc Golf and Coffee. I don't know if it's open anymore. And it was the
Mm.
first time we had gone to like a disc golf specific shop. And like I don't even know how to explain the
Yeah.
excitement for that one, where you get to like pick a putter. Like it's not just the
Yep.
local sporting goods store that had like DX grid stamp AVRs and champion I-die bosses. Like we got to pick some discs. Like, and so that was kind of when everything, like you got to see what disc golf could offer you a little, outside of little small town 9 hole courses. And then we actually, so I can't break the secret of silence, but me and my friends actually made disc golf content like
Oh.
Ooh.
when we were in like 6th grade. So yeah, and so that's where the intro clip of my buddy Austin going, "There's 3 keys to disc golf: driving, approaching, and putting," or "There's
Uh-huh.
3 keys to this disc sport: driving, approaching, and putting." So that clip is from disc golf content that was created probably in the realm of
How
He's
old are
the
you now?
original
10 to
disc
That's
golf content
amazing.
creator.
13 years ago, maybe.
Sorry. How old are you now?
What'd you say?
Okay. Sorry, I was just trying to do the math.
26.
You were like 10. Yeah, so
5th
16.
grade.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think
15,
that's
16.
about that
Is
time.
that
Well, how old?
content
Yeah,
just
I think
hidden
like 10.
somewhere? Are you
Yeah,
planning
something
on
like that.
dropping it one day
Yeah.
or archives? Oh.
For now, it's a mystery. I drop little Easter eggs in my videos every once in a while. I used to actually clip like a funny part out of each of those videos and put it as either as the intro or the outro for maybe like my first like 15 or 20 videos. I used to like use a different intro or outro clip from back in those days. And so it's like this little thing that it's out there, but it's something that I don't think anyone will ever find or get to see, to be honest. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll post them up, but but so yeah, and then kind of in like middle high school, once you could start driving, I started playing tournaments. And it was one of those things where I'm kind of like a 0 or 100 type guy with like sports. So it's either like I I want to be the best. And so with disc golf, I was pretty good like when I was younger, like really fast. Like probably in my first like 10 rounds of disc golf, I could sling the disc forehand, backhand. It also helps that I was basically the same height I am right now, like in like 7th grade. So, and I have really long arms, so I could always like sling it. But I played tournaments off and on and never could like I could just never. I couldn't putt in tournaments. Basically, I would like park every hole and then like 3 putt from 15 feet. And so I'd go through like multiple seasons of competitive disc golf where I would play 3, 4 events and then absolutely hate disc golf with everything in my like. It was like it made me so mad that I would just like not play any more tournaments for the rest of the year. I never like would stop playing, but I had probably like 3 or 4 seasons where you'll see a few events and then you'll see nothing else for the rest of the year. That's pretty much why. But and then yeah, the disc golf content, then you kind of skip, it's just like high school, young adulthood, never really stopped playing at all. Is always a pretty constant in my life. All my best friends from back home who we're all pretty much still best friends till now. We all play disc golf constantly, like every single day. Like, after work they go out and play. Like, and then it was a year or so. I want to say it was right around maybe before New Year's 2022. I was living in Nashville and I had just I had just moved to Nashville from Arizona. And during my time in Arizona, it was probably like the least I'd played, just because if you know Arizona disc golf, it is not fun. They have a good community there, I will say. Like,
Where
they have,
where in
they try
Arizona?
and do what they can, but the disc golf courses in Arizona are just. I lived in
Gilbert.
Mesa and like
Oh, my
Gilbert,
buddy
so like
lives in Gilbert.
the Scottsdale, yeah, like
No, no, no. But I
did
was
you
gonna
play disc golf?
ask you. I was gonna ask you. I
Right.
forget what it's called. I was
No.
gonna ask you if you played this course. It's like on a lake, and the lake kind of stinks, and it's like a bunch of crazy rocks.
I haven't played that one. Honestly, the only one I can think of that has water is just Fountain Hills.
No, I gotta.
Which Fountain Hills kind of stinks, but
Ah, dude, I got in Prescott. It's
trying to
in
think of
Prescott
Gilbert.
or Prescott. Have you ever been
Okay,
up there?
Prescott's a little more.
Yeah, I know it's
I
north.
want to say that's like northeast, maybe like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I had never played
Okay,
there. No.
okay. So if you haven't played in Watson Lake, that's what it is. Oh,
No, haven't played.
it
that.
it was weird. It was like basically Arizona-y, but it was like if you can imagine Joshua Tree. I don't know if you have never ever been or seen Joshua Tree, where like all the rocks are like circular and mounted on each other. It was like playing a disc golf
seen
course
it.
there. But yeah, I know exactly
Mhm.
what you're saying with the Arizona. It's just like open, deserty, just flat. Oh,
Yeah. So like, I didn't play a ton in Arizona. Like maybe a couple times a month. Just get out, throw, like knock the rust off. But especially in the summer, is just not fun. But when I was living in Arizona, I like I basically moved to Arizona and was like, I want to do something kind of like what you guys talked about. I think Sacco mentioned it in episode 1, where from a young age you knew like you wanted to do something a little more like different. I guess you never were like, oh, this is what I want to be when I grow up. That's how I've been like my whole life. It was playing the MLB or or I don't know, do something else that's not a real job, I guess. You know what I mean? And so I moved to Arizona and I bought a camera and I was like, I'm going to be a freelance videographer and photographer. And so I did that for 2 years in Arizona. Didn't know a thing, but I could talk my way into situations where someone would pay me a couple $1,000s to like edit videos and
There you
film
go.
stuff, and I would look up YouTube videos on how to do it, and then
Ooh.
I became a website designer. I'd never designed a website, but people would pay me to do it, and I would look up how to do it. And 2 weeks later, what did they have? A website. Uh, and so 2 years in Arizona of like videography, I like thought it was because I've always been like me and my friends have always like made content of some sort, all of it horrible, but we thought we were funny and we made stuff. And I used to do a lot of I I somewhat knew my way around a camera. Somehow you go make enough money to like pay your rent off of a video, and you're like, oh my, like, all right, I'm not stressed for one day, and then the first comes around, you're like, all right, I got 30 days, let's try and make some money again. And so I got really burnt out of it, and it was right at the time where I was about to like leave Arizona, and I moved to Nashville with my girlfriend Paula, my buddy Ethan, and my buddy Clyde and his girlfriend Carly. And honestly, when I got to Nashville, I don't want to call it like straight up like depression, but I was pretty down. Like, I was really not feeling much of anything because I just had no clue what I wanted to do with my life. Luckily, I had like made a decent chunk of money, and I ended up living off my savings for almost the entire time I was in Nashville. But my one of my best friends, Ethan, all we did was just play disc golf every day. You know, it was the only thing that I like found joy in, like pretty much always, I guess, you know, it's like always been that thing in my life that I'm like, if nothing else, I can go out to the disc golf course and I can play some disc golf. And for those 3 hours, nothing else really matters. And then I was like, I have all this camera equipment. We've always liked to make content. So I was like, Ethan, let's just like start filming some videos. So we started filming a couple videos. And at first I told him, and like in my head, I was like, I want these videos to be bad, because for the last 2 years, I had stressed over trying to make like really good videos, you know, for like clients and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't want the stress of like the production value of all that to like be what weighs me down again. And so we just started making these videos, and they're horrible, you know, they're literally just us playing Seven Oaks in Nashville. And then maybe like our sixth video or something, I basically posted like once, maybe a week, once every 2 weeks. And maybe like our sixth video, we posted a video about the Discraft Pulse, which is an out of production mold from way back in the day. It's like a 10 or 11 speed overstable driver with a, not really like a thumb track, but it's got a groove in it. And Ethan had one of these Pulses way back in the day. It was like that iconic disc where we were always like, oh, like the Discraft Pulse. And I found two of these Pulses on Facebook Marketplace, and this guy, and they were like almost in mint condition, and this guy was selling them for like $5 a pop. And I was like, I'll commit a robbery purchase. And so I got these two like basically mint OOP Pulses, and then we made a video, and it was the first one where I kind of really like tried, I guess. I tried to make it good. We tried to really have fun with it. I use this, one of the things I like to sprinkle into a lot of like a video here and there is like vintage cameras. So I'll use like an old like point and shoot for some footage, and like, you know, splice that footage over the audio of the other stuff. And so we made this video, and maybe about a week later it got 1,000 views. And I saw that 1,000 for the first time, and since that day that it hit 1,000, I just told myself, I was like, all right, this is my job now. And that's pretty much like how I started doing this as like
Dude.
my
Beautiful,
job.
man.
Is that one video kind of like gave me the belief that like, okay, there's something here. It got, you know, probably a decent amount
Yeah,
of comments of
dude,
people enjoying
sick.
it.
I
And I
dig
saw
it.
that
I just
that
went to
number,
your
that was
YouTube
kind
and
of like
scrolled
the
back to that
validation that
video.
I needed to
That's
like, all
that's
right,
wild.
like
I
there's
remember
something
seeing.
here.
So okay,
And then kind of just ran with it, I guess.
when did you start editing for Casey White? Was it
So yeah,
before that? After
that's
that?
that's
Yeah.
my story of, I guess, as good as I can tell it right now.
Okay. How did
Wow.
that happen?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mhm. So yeah, so I've
Uh-huh.
actually been editing for Casey for maybe like 3 years now. Yeah, so me and Casey have been buddies for maybe like 5 5, 6 years now. Casey likes to spend a lot of time in Minnesota, and so we have like mutuals like Alex Geisinger and Terry Roethlisberger, who used to be tour pros, and like Colin Bailey.
Mhm.
He's a local Minnesota pro who never toured, but is like cracked. The dude can throw a mile, and he's wild. And Lucas Hegna, like a bunch of other like mutuals, kind of from like the Midwest. And so I just met Casey like, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. We were always friends. You know, we'd see each other, what, twice a year maybe, when they were in town for the Majestic or something. And then he was in Arizona for probably the Memorial, like I think the first year that I lived there. And that
Mm.
back then I actually had like a podcast. So I had Casey come on the pod. And then at the time he was like posting like, you know, he had like the Simon bump. He was doing good
Oh.
numbers and stuff, and he maybe, I think he had like 6,000
Oh.
subs, you know, but he would go like 2 months
Oh.
without posting. And I was like, why don't you like do that? Like, why are you like waiting so long? And he's like, bro, I film on my Android and I edit on my Android. He's like, it takes me 2 weeks. He's like, it takes me 2 weeks to edit a
So you
video.
still
Half the
do it
time I'll be
even with
halfway
your
done and my
YouTube?
phone crashes and everything gets deleted. So at the time, you know, I was just like, well, how about you just like pay me to do it? And then basically since that started, we've posted almost every single week
Starlink?
for maybe 3 years now. So,
Oh.
yeah. Yep, I still do it now.
Oh.
If it was more than one video a week, to be honest, I don't know if I could do it because it's just like the workload of like editing. Honestly, one of the biggest hassles over the last year living in the van is like we just got Wi-Fi in the van, which has been a game changer. But before, I would have no, we got this just through Verizon. It's like $50 a month. Literally plugs in. It's like crispy Wi-Fi too for like
Yeah.
uploads YouTube videos like pretty fast. So, but the biggest hassle was like I would edit one video for Casey, but it would take me like an entire day because I would have to like go upload. I'd have to go export the footage off of like Google Drive
Oh
or something,
gosh.
which if you don't have good Wi-Fi takes so long. So I'd be sitting in coffee shops for hours just to export the footage onto my hard drive, then
It
to
can
put
take
it in
days,
Final
dude.
Cut, to then start editing it, to then export it. And I edit on a 2015
Yep.
MacBook Pro that it sounds like an airplane's going to take off the whole time you're using it. So it takes like 2 hours to export a
Dang.
video, and then got to find Wi-Fi. And I'm sure you guys know uploading a YouTube video on bad Wi-Fi can take literal hours. And
Dude.
then
I have
dude,
I have a
literally,
question
I've
kind of to
had
do with
times
that,
where it's like 48
with
hours
the
to upload a
content
video.
editing.
I
So
used
is this
to
your
literally sit
full-time
outside of
job, the content
libraries for
creation,
hours
editing,
to upload
whatever?
videos.
And if so,
And
how do you make ends meet, and where are your revenue sources coming from for someone that might want to do this full-time?
yeah, so this has been my job. Pretty much since like I got monetized. It's the only money I've made up until I've been in Charlotte here for a few months, and I've been working at a disc golf shop down for disc golf in Concord, which is like a little bit north of Charlotte. I've been working there for like a month and a half now, maybe. I just work 2 days a week, so it's like, and it's the owner Daryl. He is like a real one. He like pretty much like I could just choose the days I work, and then like if I wanted to go film, like I could go film. But we got here and we knew we were gonna be here for a little while, so I was like, I'm gonna take the stress off of like having to post every day and try and make a little extra money. But up until then, yeah, for the last year, disc golf content has been like my full-time job. In terms of revenue streams, in order to make this, let me preface this by saying, if I did not live in a van and I had to pay rent, I could not do this as my job. So let's just like, if I had to pay rent, I'd have to have like a job. You know what I mean? So ad revenue from YouTube, which is probably way less than everybody thinks it is who doesn't make YouTube videos.
It is way less than people think it is. It
is way less. I don't get as much views as Jay Millie, but it's way less. I could buy a Subway sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Like every time I do a giveaway, I'm like, I hope this video covers the shipping. So YouTube revenue, merch, signature disc sales, editing, and then
That's
I
hilarious.
be forgetting something, but I feel
They
like
didn't pay
that's
you.
it.
They didn't
So
pay you.
I mean, it's basically like 4 or 5 income streams that actually you want to know what kind of makes good money is when a company sends you like 40 discs and then you make content with them and then you go sell them all. hey, they aren't paying. So I'm
makes
doing
Everyone would
whatever
be.
I want. Other than Temu, they're paying. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how could you make this into a career? I'll be honest. So I guess let's talk. So you got Bonanza, who I don't know how much he makes, but I'd be happy with the amount that he makes. You know what I mean? But Bonanza posted, I don't know, maybe if you looked at his channel right now, he probably has 350 videos posted, I bet. He set the standard, obviously, for posting every single day as a disc golf content creator. And I never got to every day for quite a while. I was doing like 5 or 6 days a week is what I tried to do. And it's a good way to burn out. It's a good way to not necessarily love all the content you're putting out. But when you go on YouTube Studio and you see you've only made that much money for the month and you got 10 days left in the month, there's some times where you literally have to be like, all right, I got to go post 7 videos in the next 10 days, because if not, like, I'm kind of out half a paycheck this month. Like, there's part of that. And so
You
I
gotta
think for
love it.
anyone trying to get into disc golf content right now, if you get really, really lucky and you're really, really good at it, you might be able to make like a true living. But like, it's a grind. Like, it is not a way to make money. Like, it's I don't, you know what I mean? I literally make it work because I have a very, very, very low cost of living. I have no bills other than just like your typical like monthly, expenses. And if I had any more than that, honestly, like, I probably would have to have something else. Maybe could take on more editing clients. I've had like opportunities to edit more stuff, but it just would be so time consuming and I don't think it'd be worth it. Like, I kind of see it as like, okay, I could spend a day editing that video, but I could maybe just spend a day making a video instead, and maybe I'll make not as much, but at least it's growing me rather than growing someone else, Like, to be honest, the only reason I still edit for Casey probably is because I like Casey. We're good friends and I want to see him succeed, and I like the relationship we have and the relationship, that's there, as I value that. So it's like, if someone who I didn't know was like, hey, bro, do you want to edit my disc golf videos? I'd probably be like, that's about, here's my list of things I want to do. Here's the bottom of it. You're right here. No, but so yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of, the money is not there, guys. If you're watching, I get a lot of people who message me that are like, oh, bro, like your videos, like I want to start making content. Like, what do you recommend for like a camera setup? What do you recommend for mics? What do you recommend for editing? What do you recommend for all of this? And like, part of me wants to like, it's like, maybe it's judgmental, but if you go to their Instagram page and they've been posting Instagram content for like a year and none of it's very good, which is, all in the eye of the beholder. But it's kind of like an eye test thing where I feel like I can go and be like, man, I wish I had the heart to just say, man, just keep slinging it off camera and enjoy this sport and this game, because the second you put the pressure on yourself,
that's what I'm saying. I think that's my
like
biggest struggle personally with content.
If you're like, I want to make money from this, I want to make this my job, like,
it's just like it's a nuisance for me to go out and bring a camera with me, and like I was filmed around with Jay Millie and I was like so annoyed. Everything was messing up. My head was in the game, and if I had to do that every time I played disc golf, that's like my biggest struggle of and that's honestly why I do kind of different type of content where it's not really has to do with me playing, because I enjoy my time of me trying to get better and just focusing rather than trying to show people that I'm getting better, me personally.
Yeah, it all depends like what you want out of it, and like, obviously you can work as hard as you want and you can do whatever you want, but the reality is like, it's not as, maybe I don't know if I want to say it's not as lucrative as it seems, because I don't think many people think it's like this lucrative thing, but it's just it looks great whenever like, I just got a box of discs from a company for free, but unfortunately a box of discs does not pay
I need to
your
eat.
bills unless you go sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brod,
sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I agree. Like, people ask me about it a decent bit as well, and I for the most part I kind of just tell people like, view it like you're trying to get free discs. Like, you can't view it like you're trying to make money from it until like you can prove that you can make money from it. Like, view it like you're trying to get on Discraft underground team, or you're trying to get a low key sponsorship from like Disc Golf Deals or Armory or whatever, where you can just get free discs and have fun. Because if you view it like I need to make money from this. I want this to be my career. Like the only people doing that right now are like people that have a disc golf shop, are a disc golf company, or are a professional. Like those are the only people that can. Well, I guess you're doing it as well, and you're not any of those, but you're figuring it out. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And people kind of view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. People view YouTube as like
I'm doing
glamorous,
it as like a
and
less
it
like,
can
yeah,
be,
like
but
it's
where
like I'm
disc golf
making it
content
work,
is right
but it's
now, it's
not.
not.
I wouldn't
Like
call it a full blown.
it's you're not making very much money
Yeah.
from it.
When you're sitting outside of a library at 10 p.m. in the middle of the summer when it's still 90 degrees and your van doesn't have air
Oh
conditioning just so you
gosh,
can upload a video.
that's not the life people want.
You know.
Rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little cheat code though, if you are on the road and you're trying to upload a video, Walmart has really good Wi-Fi.
Wow,
Put your computer in the cart. Go. You don't have to buy anything. Sometimes I just go sit in an aisle and look at water bottles. I don't know. And then my video's done. And I go, all right,
that's
see you guys.
Life
Thanks.
hack.
hilarious.
What a
Life
hack. Go ahead, Sacco.
Brod, you
Yeah.
you mentioned how you edit for Casey. Is there, and obviously like you edit for yourself, is there a difference that you approach your content versus Casey's content when you edit?
Yeah, for sure. Because so I like to think I have like a decent knowledge of like content and like I've always been like a consumer of content because I like I like the stories is what like like when Jay Millie posted his first video, within the first 30 seconds I recognized what he was doing and I recognized that no one else was doing it. I knew I saw it and I was like, oh, someone's doing it finally, you know what I mean? And like I'm a huge fan of like Casey Neistat. I'm a like
Ryan
all
Trahan.
like the ode.
Oh, he's right here.
Yeah, Ryan. You mean the Jay Millie of
There we
mainstream
go.
YouTube?
There we go, baby. There we go.
No, but so I'm inspired by like those stories, and as of now, I don't think I've utilized that in my content as much as I would have liked to, because I have a note in my phone from probably the first month that I started making disc golf YouTube videos that literally says become the Casey Neistat of disc golf YouTube. And I don't think I've done like the best job of doing that in terms of like the stylistic approach. And that's on me, but I still think like in my mind and in my heart, that's where I want to go, because from day one I've always wanted to pivot not out of disc golf, but like create disc golf content that is a little bit more about me, I guess, just as a person. But to answer your question, I guess, so Casey, more or less, he just goes out, sets up a tripod, and films his disc golf round. A lot of his videos are disc golf round on a Monday, talking about the previous recap. And a lot of the reason people really resonate with Casey and talk about Casey is because he's very vulnerable. He's willing to show his emotions, and he's willing to sit and tell you exactly how he feels for a long time. A lot of these videos I have, it's like, an hour and a half of footage or something, and it's him playing 18 holes. But between every 2 or 3 holes, it's a 5-minute thing of him just talking. And it's the same style of talking that he would do if it was just him and one of his friends, unwinding after the tournament, like we all do, of, oh, hey, I did this, I did it, blah, 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 about every tournament. But he's willing to like put that out there. But so Casey doesn't necessarily craft a video. He just speaks and is so passionate about disc golf that it turns into something that I think people enjoy. And so for me, editing a Casey video, it's more or less a chronological edit of just clip, 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 clip. There's the shots. Okay. And then clip, here's Casey talking. And that's kind of it for the most part. A very straightforward edit. There's not much, thought that necessarily needs to go in it on my end. Funny enough, one of the maybe the more time consuming parts of editing a Casey video, Casey White, not Casey Neistat, guys, no, is Casey says but after almost every sentence, and I don't even know if he knows this, but every possible chance I have to trim that word off, I do it and like fade out the audio below so that he's not saying but 15
In one
times
sentence.
in a 3-minute spiel. Yeah. And I don't know if he even knows I do that, but I'm saving his viewers.
That's hilarious.
He's like,
Because
dang, I sound good.
the second you would pick up on him doing that, I think you'd be like, oh, there it is again. There it is again. Because that's what happened with me. I heard it and I was like, I know this needs to at least get trimmed down somewhat, which is funny. I feel like it's one of those like little behind the scenes things that like probably nobody realized, but there's probably 30 times in a video where he says but, and I trim it out very carefully.
That's crazy. So, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and then so I guess that's the difference. Is his is a lot less of like a production. It's literally just him being him, and then I clip it up more or less. You know what I mean? I don't really do anything to it. I put his intro on it, put his outro on it. Make it flow. I think the yeah, your ears will just the funny thing is with Casey's intro music, so I put it at about -10 decibels because the stock track that he got made for it is so loud, and the first time he used that intro music, I didn't really I just put it on there, didn't think of it. And I'm pretty sure there were comments of oh, bro, our ears are blown up.
That's hilarious.
But yeah. So, and then with my videos, I guess funny enough, because I've been going through it mentally in terms of disc golf content of being what do I want to do? And it was so funny because I listened to your guys' first episode 5 days ago or something when I was at the gym. A lot of times when I'm at the gym is when I don't watch much disc golf content other than when I'm at the disc golf shop working, it's on all day, but I don't really actually consume it at all. But when I'm at the gym, I'll put on Bedanza's videos that are updates because I want to keep up with my friend. I'll put on Nate Turner's videos that are updates because I want to know what people are doing. So I'll just listen to them while I'm working out. And I put on your guys' first podcast, and you touched a little bit on the disc golf content thing. And it's funny because literally 2 days before that, I don't know the actual timeline, but I had filmed a disc review of the OTB Watt versus just the Neutron Watt, and then I had filmed a disc review of the KJ Prodigy lineup, basically and I had done them, and I was just the only reason that I did them actually is because I just got a new camera and I haven't quite been able to figure out the exposure on it. It has a better ND filter than I was using previously. A lot of my videos for the last couple of weeks have been very underexposed. So I shot those 2 videos just on auto. I was let's see how it handles a summer day in the trees with sun shining everywhere. And I'm going to figure it out. And so I made these videos, and they're nothing special, they're just disc reviews. And it's funny because you guys were talking about it and I kind of made it and I was like, I kind of hate this a little bit, I think. And I'm not saying I'll never do another disc review, but those were kind of the last straw where I was like, I don't think I'm just going to be oh, hey guys, this is the disc that came out this week. Let's review it again, because I just do not care. Unless it's a disc that I actually am oh, sweet, that came out, I want to try that. Sure. But a lot of times it would just be okay, the OTB drops here, let's make a video about it. And I'm everyone else made this video this week as well. Yes, it does views. People ask me, they're Brod, why don't you do a review the new Innova Racer? And I'm because I don't want to post a video that gets 700 views. when I can just put MVP in the thumbnail and title and get 4,000. Like, that's why I'm not reviewing the Innova Racer, because as much as Innova is still my favorite brand, because I bag like a lot of the old stuff, their new stuff is a joke in my mind. I don't want to beat up Destroyer with a nose bead. That's just me. But I know I see the trends of just like put Simon Lizotte and MVP in your title and you got views. And sometimes it's like you're just thinking, you're like, do I want to make $15 off this video, or do I want to make $70 off this video? I'm gonna pick
There you
70,
go.
you know? And so it's just, I don't even know where I'm going. I kind of do this a lot where I just like start talking about this stuff. But I guess what I was talking about was you guys. I listened to your first episode, and I had just kind of made that decision in my head of being like, I think this might be like the end of like disc reviews if it's something I don't really have a total
Yeah.
like interest in. And your podcast actually kind of like made me solidify
Let's
the idea.
go.
Like, it was like in my head. And then I was like, yeah, that's, I think, like pretty much it. That's the decision made right there. Like, I don't know. I think I use the idea of, this is how I make money. So I need to post 15 to 20 videos a month in order to make a decent chunk of money from the YouTube revenue. But internally, I'm much happier when I make one really good video with my friends that is just enjoyable. And if I posted one of those a month, and I guess if it does well, sweet. But to be honest, if I just enjoyed the process, that's more valuable to me as a creator than it is to post 15 disc reviews that month. Like, and I've battled this thing of like having to make money but wanting to make better content. And like I commented on your guys' reel, I said it all sucks, including mine. And I wasn't kidding. Like, not that all of it sucks, but I was kind of in the headspace that I'm like, yeah, most disc golf content is behind the curve, like you were talking about. It's way behind in terms of trends. And it just like, it needs work. And I didn't want to say that and be like, mine's the best, because I'm like, no, mine is right there included. And yeah, I don't know.
I think
That's
like
some of
I
my
think
thoughts
that
on that.
well, no, I mean, most of that stuff I resonate with. Like, it's super hard to struggle with like, my big struggle right now is I want to make videos that I enjoy making, but I know that, like, I know a lot of, like you mentioned, I know a lot of the things of videos that like people will click on or like be interested in. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I would say one of my biggest struggles right now is my shorts. So like, I like making shorts. I have a lot of fun doing it. But sometimes I like make a short and I'm like, yeah, this is going to flop, and it gets 5 or 10,000 views on YouTube. And then I'm like, well, if I just done uh like some of my shorts I think are kind of silly, but I know they're going to go crazy, like get millions of views, because that is the hook or the story that
Mhm.
people resonate with, you know? And it's just like I want to make stuff that I enjoy, but like I also, you kind of have to get it in front of people's eyes for you to make any money off of it. And so it's finding that happy middle
Yeah.
without like sacrificing the stuff that I enjoy making, but also like not just making something that no one wants to watch at all, you know? And honestly,
Mhm.
like when I take a look at your content, like, yeah, some of your videos get more, some of your videos get less, but like I think what you should lean into, and not that you're asking for advice, but it seems like, what you enjoy doing is hanging out with your homies and making videos with your friends. And I think there's a lot of people on your channel, like the
Mhm.
true frisbee clubbers, that just want to watch you do that, that just like enjoy
Yeah.
you hanging with the homies. And so I think, like, yeah, rather than disc reviews, unless you get hype about it, or you need to make some extra money in a month, so you're like, oh, I'm gonna make a disc review this month, like, lean into like hanging with the boys and like what stories are there, like make them bigger characters on
Mhm.
your channel, or like go into like a round with them and have like, I don't know, like some kind of storyline that you want to lean into, and then when you're in the edit, it's
Yeah.
possible.
And that's like I filmed the video on what day is it
Monday.
today?
Monday.
Monday? On Friday, I filmed a video that I think it's not some like elaborate thing, but I think in terms of like what it is, I think it's like will be one of my best videos I've done. And it was like fully inspired by like I put out those 2 videos, those disc reviews, and I was kind of, and you know, like I said, and then it basically I told myself, I'm like, you're not going to film a video until it's something that you like truly want to go create. And then it almost like made it happen quicker because I was just like, let's like, you know, and then it just like comes to me. And so I'm excited for that. I haven't even actually started editing it yet. I've been like too busy. So it's like I'm just sitting on this footage for like 4 days still. But I agree with you 100% where, because my channel started probably like my first 30, 40 videos was me and my buddy Ethan. And it was kind of us just like messing around. That's where all like my one-liners that like
Yes.
have become integrated into my content, that's where they all started, was with Ethan. And I always tell Ethan, I'm like, bro, the day I can afford to put you on payroll, it's happening. But unfortunately, like we're a ways off. I gotta put myself on payroll first. You know what I mean? And it sucks because when I moved from Nashville and started into the van, I thought it was gonna be this like great thing for content of like, oh, like you're gonna be traveling to all these courses and doing all this. But in reality, what it was is it was like leaving behind the basically like the characters and the stories within my videos. And I knew that, but I thought the value was still there with like the traveling and playing the courses and stuff. And it wasn't in my mind, like in terms of content, because a lot of times it was like me in a new state being like, okay, well, I'm at a new course, but unfortunately, nobody cares that I'm at this course. So I can't be like playing blah 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 course in here because okay, the 50 locals might know that course, but nobody else is like, oh, Brad posted at this course in Montana, no way, let's go watch it. Like nobody's doing that. So it just didn't really like, I was finding myself in a position where I thought it was going to be like go travel in a van and make disc golf content, and it was almost like the opposite effect of like, well, actually you have nothing to, not that you have nothing to offer, but in terms of like what you truly like making, it's not here right now because you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just not there.
So like, yeah, that I think if I remember correctly, I think in that first episode, I guess my more stance about like the whole 18 hole playing thing, I think you, Bodanza, Nate Turner, I think you guys are the ones that can pull it off and will pull it off where it's entertaining. I was more so saying like the people where it's like that's everyone's go-to. So if you can rise to the top of that 18 hole thing, I think it's great. I mean, or whatever, or just playing. I think it's great. And I think you can really make a name for ourselves. So yeah, I just want to clarify that. It's not like we're not knocking like that type of content.
Yeah, no,
it's just everyone does it off the bat. That's their first
like,
thing. Like, okay, I'm going to go play this local course. I'm going to get thousands of views. Like, no, probably not. But like the reason you guys like Bodanza, Nate, and you is because you kept posting and you kept posting and you kept making entertaining videos.
We like, I don't know what episode it was you guys talked about it, but you kind of said like certain creators almost earn the right to just post 18 hole rounds. And I think like me and Nate and like Bodanza are kind of,
I'd say you guys are the three. I couldn't even think of another one.
Nate. Yeah. We're like, and those will never go away from me. I think is like just I'm going to play disc golf, just me, and I'll talk about whatever I want, or I'll hang out with my buddies and we'll do whatever we want. Those I do enjoy. They just, unless you can think of some hook and some thumbnail that's going to get more clicks, unfortunately, they're probably just going to get, 1, 2, 3,000 views, which is amazing. Amazing. But in order to continue to do this, we got to get those bonanza numbers, you know what I mean?
Totally.
But so yeah, I like you clarifying, I never like, that's exactly like how I took it. I guess a word of advice, not that I need to give advice, but to the creators that are out there making your first disc golf content of, hey, me and my friends, we're going to go play 18 holes. Don't do an intro. Throw the disc within the first 15 seconds. There's nothing worse. I'll put it this way. I watch the first 15 to 30 seconds of about every single disc golf content that runs across my page. The amount that I actually finish, maybe that many. Because if I'm clicking on your video and I don't know who you are, and I'm 2 minutes in and you haven't even thrown a disc yet, see ya. I'm out of here. And that just might be me. That might just be me. I have a small attention span, but nobody knows who you are. So let us figure out who you are during the video. Don't tell us, hey, I'm Billy Jones from blah, Missouri. I'm 912 rated. My favorite disc is the Buzz because I really like Paul Macbeth. We're out here at our local course. It's 18 holes. It's a
Yeah.
par 67. It's really challenging. About 17 years ago, they actually hosted the AM Worlds Championships here, so it's pretty iconic. Today, we're going to be playing a walkthrough. We're going to show you guys. We're going to talk you through the video. Unfortunately, doesn't matter. Just start throwing and having fun. And if you're throwing the disc like right away, I might stick around because
doing something. Yeah.
it's not as boring.
Yeah. Well, the reason I just said I wanted to encourage you because I know, like, the reason we made this podcast is because are we still going to are there plenty other podcasts that cover disc golf pro tour news that are better than us? Yes. Like, I think Staggered Stance with Stammo does a great job getting all the analytics you want to know about the tour. I think it's a great job, but we're still going to cover that stuff because sometimes people just want to look at you as a brand and want to invest in your brand. So that I just wanted to encourage you, like, yeah, I think it's important to get that content you really care about, but sometimes that person wants to see the my best friend's name is James Broderic. So, some people want to see the Broderic MVP Watt review and from no one else. So I think that's also important too, that as the bigger you get, the more brandability and more people want to be like, I want to see it from Broderic. I don't care about anyone else because I really like his. Like, I was that way with Jesse from Trash Bandit. I would click on every single one of his videos because I was just so invested in his story and his brand when he was in the garage. It could have been about anything, and I would have clicked on it. Yeah, so just what I was more saying about, like, you know, the 18 holes is just like, even it was me. I started even too, like, road to 1,000 rated. I started it too, but it was just more so like, just find your own lane if you can, or keep grinding the 18 holes, but don't expect to be like off the bat because, you know, now everyone's doing it. But yeah, that's all I was trying. Yeah.
And I think also for me is, I totally understand that every bit of like pressure or stress that I feel from this is totally just me putting it on myself because I want to succeed and I want to make this my career. But I'm also realistic enough to know that if I'm in the same position that I'm at right now in a year, I probably have to go get a job because I can't sustain right now for a whole nother, like if I'm not basically 2x at least by next year, the reality of it is financially and just realistically, it no longer makes sense, which is unfortunate. Could I dial it back and really maybe be like, I could get a job and then do that one video a month that is just like the banger and then work my way back? Yes. And I'd have to like reevaluate my ideas, but I'm trying to basically do that right now while still like having to rely on this. And that's part of the reason why I got the job at the disc golf shop, is to take a little bit of the stress off financially of like having to create.
No, that totally makes sense. I mean, I still work full time outside of YouTube. You know, it won't happen for me for a while.
Yeah.
And, you know, I do get some views on my videos
Because you
sometimes.
guys are both like married and have like houses and
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, I
So
don't have
it's
a
like,
house. I wish I had a house.
Yeah, I have an apartment.
oh, okay, okay. But you probably
Yes,
pay,
Yeah.
rent.
you pay
Yeah.
rent.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you know what I mean?
So not
Yeah.
yet, maybe
So
soon. But
a little more responsible.
yeah, like it is pressure,
Yeah.
it's not easy to like make a whole video and be like think, oh, that's only going to get a couple hundred views, a couple hundred views is like
Yeah.
cents to the dollar,
Mhm.
like it is not much
Mhm.
money.
hmm
Um, so I understand it.
I'd like to ask you guys like a question based on kind of my response to your Instagram reel. One of the things that I said in it was I don't think disc golf has enough depth to create the like
Hmm.
compelling stories that I think like people like us want there to
Hmm.
be without like romanticizing something that doesn't really deserve to be like romanticized. You know what I mean? Like people always talk about in content, like you have to treat
Yeah.
yourself like the main character and like you have to like make things feel more important than they are. And that's how good content is made. But most disc golfers, maybe it's getting a little more even nowadays. In my mind, a lot of disc golfers are like middle-aged men who do not care about storytelling or like the like passion that like you maybe put into, I don't know, that's maybe just me like pigeonholing them, but it seems like the demographic could, they're like they didn't grow up
Yeah.
like watching
Yeah.
YouTube
Mhm.
like we did, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So they don't recognize that that like storytelling aspect. So I guess my question is like what do you guys think about me saying that, of like does disc golf have the storylines to actually create these stories that we would like to
Yeah.
tell?
So my response doesn't sound like a response at first, but how I view it is like there are really two different like see the fray
That's
on
all I'm
these.
looking at right now.
It's so silly. I'm not gonna use my hands. There's like two different categories of disc golf viewership in my head right now, and I'm sure there's a million more, but I view it like this. There's a lot of younger, like people like us, or even younger than that right now, people who are interested, 100% interested in these storylines. And I mean, I think that's why I've been able to step into the space like so quickly and like kind of get, some
hmm
views. And if I'm being completely honest, you look at my demographics and you don't really see the older demographic watching a ton. I think I'm pulling a little bit, especially now, like with Jesse from Trash Panda, and like I don't know, like proving that I'm posting enough,
hmm
and like I mean, not really posting enough with one video a month, but I'm posting and I've done it for a year now. Like people are kind of like, oh, I've seen this guy get recommended a bunch, I'll give him a chance. And so there's the younger demographic
hmm
who are cool with storytelling and like that because that has been what's popular for the longest time. And then there's the older demographic who are essentially living vicariously through you. Like when they can't go out and play disc golf themselves, they just want to watch it and they want to watch good disc golf.
hmm
And most of the time, they like kind of just want to watch a pro throw, or like they're cool watching Foundation. And part of the reason they like watching Foundation is because Foundation's been around the longest and they've become attached to their characters. And so my view of it is right now there's enough of that younger audience to sustain the storytelling, but I'm almost trying to convince the older audience to become like interested in that as well. Like saturate it
hmm
and be like,
yeah.
they watch a video and they only get 2 minutes in and they're like, I'm over this guy, he's too silly, or like this story, I'm just not invested. I feel like Bodanza is like right in the middle, like of that, like having a story, but also keeping it chill. Like I think he does a good job of trying to appeal to both. Um, but yeah, I'm in the boat of like
hmm
trying to convince that older audience to be invested in the story. And then to like actually answer your question, I think there is, because it, like you said, it's kind of like you're romanticizing something. So like if you do watch like mainstream content, like Casey Neistat or Ryan Trahan, most of the time their videos are about nothing. You know, Casey. Well,
hmm
I guess Casey Neistat's like most popular video is about just it's the Nike ad. I'm sure you've seen the video. Yeah,
The
yeah, and
Nike
he
ad. But out of the
yeah
800 vlogs, 700 of them were just him making a soap
Yeah, yeah.
dispenser in his
And so, like, for
shower.
me, like, if you
You know,
yeah,
like
if you go to yeah,
that was one of them.
if
That
you
was
go to
one of
my
them.
Notion, like, one of my video ideas is make like a disc golf rack out of wood, or, like, make, a Zuka cart out of wood or PVC pipe, and, like, make that the story. Like, the reason that I think there are so many
Mhm.
in disc golf is because there really is a story in everything. I think you would like this guy. His name's Bo Miles. Have you ever watched this guy on YouTube? You should check him out. He
Mhm.
like he's kind of like a running guru kind of guy, and he posted this video
Okay.
that's called completing one task for every mile of a marathon for 24 hours or something like random like that. But the whole video is him just like running a mile and then fixing a part of his fence, and then running a mile and renewing some canoe he had in his garage. And he's essentially just doing knickknack tasks around his house the entire video. But you're just like so invested because there's an element of it like he's finishing this marathon and you're invested in the larger story. But then each like breakup, there's a smaller story you become invested in. And I think that's kind of how we have to view disc golf content, as like, since we're in a niche, we can
Mhm.
niche more. My Roby Epic video came out of our niche a
Yeah.
little bit because people were just like, "That is freaking weird. I'm gonna watch that video." But to be
Mhm.
honest, it's like niche of the niche, and it exploded. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I was gonna say, sometimes I think I have a really hard time taking the very, like, mundane, simple things in disc golf and making something out of them because I've played for so long that I feel like I've seen all the changes and I've been part of all of it, and it, like, no longer interests me, but I could also realize that most people don't, like, know what I know. They haven't seen what I've seen, and so, like, I could go make a video on the most basic thing that in my mind, I'm like, every disc golfer knows that. But do they really? No, they don't. But in my mind, I just like think they do. I don't know. I used to back when I first started my channel, I used to do like I call them talk and tosses, where I'd play 18 holes and I would just like talk about a topic. And a lot of times I would literally just like tell a story, not even like storytelling. I would literally tell a story from my childhood of like playing disc golf, and people like really liked them. But I got to a point where I kind of like ran out of
Yeah.
things to talk about. Like I was like, these are my favorite videos. Like people love them. They comment on them, but I'm like, sorry guys, nothing else happened. I don't know what to do now. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, I
But
mean, like you
I don't
literally.
know.
I mean, when you said that you guys filmed all this content back in fifth and sixth grade, my mind was just like, dude, that's a content gold mine. Like,
It is, and I think part of it is I'm almost like
mm,
saving it until I know that I'm like I can like make
something that does
like
it
the
justice.
truest form of like what like I want to make something so special for it that it like until then
Yeah.
I
Mm.
can't touch
I
it.
mean,
You
I
know what
feel
I
like
mean?
you've been in the
Like
space for so long. Like, there aren't a lot of people who throw the old Innova stuff. Or, I mean, I guess there are, but like me, I started, yeah, I started
not
playing in
on YouTube though.
2020.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know I didn't know I didn't know what
Yeah.
PFN meant for forever. Like I had no clue what that meant. Like, you
Yeah.
could make a video. Yeah.
I got a comment recently. They're like, what's a pre-flight number Buzz SS?" I was like, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
have flight
yeah,
numbers
yeah.
on it.
I mean, like, I think that's a video right there. Like, what is PFN? Like, and that's something I think you could
Yeah.
do a good
I
job
think
on,
I
like
haven't
explaining it, or like just walking through your disc. Like, everything has a
yeah.
story.
I I feel like I haven't done I don't think I've made a single video, to be completely honest, other than a couple like vlogs that were just random. I don't think I've made a single video that isn't based around me throwing a
Mm,
disc on a disc golf course. And I think that mentally could get to I think that's probably what I need to start doing a little bit more of is like this storytelling on something so simple. Like I have like all this old
yeah.
PFN Innova stuff, and I could like literally what you just said, Jamie. Like I could probably make such a good video on that, but I just haven't because for some reason I feel this. It's not pressure, but I just feel like I'm supposed to be on a disc golf course while I'm talking about disc golf things. But in reality, I could just like make this video. I've also used it as, maybe it's like an excuse in my head that I use, but living in a van, like I have no office. Like I have my computer on a fold out table with a curtain behind me, sitting on a bench in front of my bed right now. So the idea of me being like, I'm going to sit down at my office and like write this story and then like do the voiceovers and do this, it like, I think I use the barrier of like, oh, but I don't have the perfect setup as an excuse to just like not make a video like that.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're balancing expectation with what you want to do a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Which in the grand scheme of things, I just have no clue.
Dude, no one does. No one does. So. Yeah, I can. Well, yeah, go ahead, finish your thought.
I was just gonna say, I always tell people just make the video. Like, you've been making videos, but you're almost hesitant to put the more effort in, or like take the extra step to like, you know, deeper story to tell.
I think so, and I think that's because of like where I live in a van that has no room in it and I have no studio set up, and I think I use that excuse as something to like be like, I can't make these like Jay Millie videos because I don't have like the means to do it right now. But really,
it just
takes extra effort that I haven't quite like.
I want to see a broad extra effort story. Like, that's why I'm trying to like,
dude,
you know,
same.
I want to push you. Like, I think you should do it, you know, like, it's going to take extra effort. And I still can't believe that you're editing on a 2015 MacBook. You need to get the new M1 chip. It's insane. But, like,
yeah, it's that disc golf rich, baby.
There we go. But like, I like, just make, you know, like, just spice it up a little bit more, you know, like, just send it and like put out something that you're not the most proud of, because that's how you get to the spot where you're like the most proud of, you know. And I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, I think this for me, like coming on here, half of it was like, I like to talk about disc golf content. I have a lot of opinions on it, but also half of it is like, I love having other disc golf content creators like tell me things, because I just like to talk to people in the same niche, which like there's like 10 people and they all live different places. The first time me and Badanza ever talked, he had like 8,000 subs maybe, and I had like 3,000. He DMs me, hey man, I see what you're doing, I like it, we should hop on FaceTime and like chat. And we FaceTimed for like 4 hours. It was like a first date where you like where you like go on a date and then you like end up at the coffee shop for like 4 hours. Because we related so much on like what we were trying to do with disc golf content, that it's like, and then we both kind of like, he talks a million miles an hour. If I get going, I talk a million miles an hour.
Yep.
So then you got both of
us
just
feed off each other.
It was like nonstop.
Yeah. Okay. To backtrack and like answer your question. I'll try do it.
My bad.
No, you're good. And just try to like answer it as quick as I can. So I'm the one that actually responded to you on like the Instagram reel. So I like kind of what I said on there is just, I don't. Sure, I think it's somewhat important, like what the focus is on the video, but really, it's just an avenue for people to be able to connect with you over like a longer time frame. So, yeah, sure, like whatever you're doing in the moment for that video, that will draw in people, but you, the personality, is the thing that will get them to like connect with you over a long time frame. So, like, Brod, go ahead.
I think.
Okay, so Brod, like what I like about your content is so many creators, they like, we're talking about how they do like 18-hole playthroughs, and they'll try so hard to convince you how good they are, and just like, oh, look at this sick birdie. Oh, I just made this clutch putt, and I'm like,
I shot 18
care.
in 18 holes my first try.
I don't care. Yeah, like that's like what inspired me personally, is because I'm just like, I don't care about how good you are. Like, that's not what's cool to me. Like, right off the gate, like watching your content, you can tell that you're just very honest about what you're doing, and like you're joking about it, but you're also like self-aware that you're joking about it. So us as an audience, we're like, oh, I'm in on the joke, so like this is cool, and like that helps you bond with the person that you're watching. So yeah, I think if it sounds like you're kind of going through it a little bit, like you're kind of like there's like a fork in the road, and you're not like, oh, this is kind of like what's expected. This is kind of what I want to do.
Basically, for every Monday for the last 4 months, I'm like, should I
Oh no.
quit
No,
making
man,
disc golf
no.
content? Because
Don't you
I'm
dare.
like,
Don't
I
you
have
dare,
no clue what
dude.
I'm doing. But
I have
we don't.
so this whole conversation has sparked some things in like a parallel to golf. Like
I'm feeling something.
there's some people in the golf space that are like huge. Like I can like Bob Does Sports with the like Fat Perez guy or Good. I bet you guys have all heard of Good or this guy Rick Shields. And they dominate the creator space, and all their videos is just challenges and playing on the golf course. So it's like this weird, intricate thing that like those are the most prominent people, and if you can get there, I think that's the best way to succeed because you're just playing the sport that you love. I just think disc golf's so niche and small that like there's not a much attention. But those guys in golf like basically are like running, other than the pros, are like running the creative side where like good is all you heard about for like the longest time. Like I heard about the splits and all that. I don't even follow those guys. Couldn't even name their names, but I know like guys left and stuff like that. So it's just like it just
the Brody stuff.
Is it? Did I see? I don't even know if it was good.
Brody essentially started good.
I did not know that. At all. I was more saying like I didn't know that at all. But yeah, just stuff like that where it's like these guys are, you know, millions of subscribers. So that's where I think that's where it really separates disc golf. I think doing the 18 thing and playing how you play, I think one, you have to be sort of good. Like all these guys that I'm naming are either like pro level or really good. Like no one's gonna watch an amateur just shank it unless they're really, really funny. But even that gets old. I mean, like you can only be so funny. So it's like, I don't know. It's just this weird space that disc golf's in. I think if you invest in the growth of disc golf and just be like, okay, I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do and I'm going to have people buy into my personality, I think it'll pay dividends. I think it reminds me of kind of like all these these Fortnite players that got popular overnight. But no, these guys were streaming for years and years, like Ninja. He was a professional gamer for years, and then he transitioned. And then once this thing blew up, he was the first one on it. And that's how I feel about disc golf. We're the first ones in this content sphere that if disc golf keeps growing into this like crazy sport and gets to golf levels, we'll be the first ones to get that opportunity to get the audience retention ASAP. And I think that's part of the reason why our foundation does so good. Is like they started early and they've just kept it on gas. Every beginner ever, first video you're seeing is a foundation video.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have the personality to be there, Brod. Like
exactly.
You're a funny guy. I think you relate to a lot of disc golfers. Like you could probably just get by playing 18 holes and just, you know, essentially, like Ben said, latch yourself to disc golf growth and you will grow with the sport. Or like, you know, the longer you commit to making videos, the more people will be attached. I think
that's why Bonanza's so big.
More people
in disc golf terms.
I almost think it's like a more like internal deep like thing for me personally, where I could like continue to just like pump out this content, and even if it was like me and my friends playing every day and I didn't do any other stuff other than just like go play disc golf with my friends and mess around and posted 5 times a week, I think it would continue to like grow and it would do well. It's more of like, for me, I have such a like internal battle with wanting to like create things that maybe I don't even have a skill set to do, but I like want that to be what I eventually get to. I don't know. It's just like so much of this like internal pressure that I put on myself that makes me kind of doubt everything that I've like ever done. Like I posted like 200 and I probably have like 270 videos posted or something. And I like, I think of them as like, I'm like, oh, but I could have made like better ones. But I'm like, bro, you posted 270 videos.
It's that imposter.
Like that's like insane.
It's the imposter syndrome, you know, like I'm pretty sure all of us have it, like to some degree. Like, why do I have
for sure
like videos that have? Why did my Aerobi Epic video get 300,000 views? You know, why do 300,000 people care? You know, like that. It's crazy. Yeah.
You know what I always wonder?
What?
Simon Lizotte be getting like 200,000 views a video. I'm like, don't you guys want more videos? Just watch ours too.
Come on, man. Just come to ours.
I'm like, bro. I'm like, I know Simon's the GOAT, but he only posts like once every
that's
2
kinda-
weeks.
you,
And
son.
we got
In that-
more videos.
In that
for
reel I
ya.
was talking about, that you commented on, that's kind of what I was talking. Like, that's what I was talking about. I think a lot of people just want to watch. At the end of the day, I think pros are the, I guess, the magnum opus in content. I think everyone at a base level wants to watch the pros because inherently most people are playing disc golf because they love it and want to play it and they want to like. We don't watch we go to a minor league baseball game in stadium. We don't watch it on our local cable. We watch the Boston Red Sox or whatever. So I think that's why. And I think we kind of fill that gap of people wanting to watch more content. But at the end of the day, like people are going to watch the pros just how it is,
Yeah, and I totally get it. Like when I was living at Drew's house this winter in Arizona, and we'd go film the same video. His gets 30K, mine gets 3. I'm like, bro, it's the same shit, different angle.
Yep.
I'm like, what?
That's hilarious.
Well, here's the thing.
And he edited his in 30 minutes, and I took 2.5
Here's
hours.
the thing I think needs to happen. I think we need to start our own good or a proficient Guggen squad. I think we need to, I think we would make it if we all started a group together of just creating challenges and contests together and make it. I think that's what it takes.
I'm down. That sounds fun.
Honestly,
Let's get it.
yeah. My buddy Ethan and then our other buddy Kirby, they're like wanting to move to Charlotte. And I'm like, if you guys move here, I think we'll have like 1 million subs by next month. So like you probably should just
There you
come.
go, dude.
Like, no, but yeah. That's why I think like Foundation is so successful is because they
Yeah,
get built
totally.
their
Exactly.
storylines off of multiple different
Break
people.
68,
Where if it
yeah.
was just one person, you can only do so much. But when you have 5 dudes to build these storylines off of, and you basically have 5 separate fan bases within one big fan base, and it just like creates so much more like it just creates you just have a storyline for every person that's involved rather than just one dude going out to the disc golf course
Exactly.
every other day.
Totally.
It's they worked insanely hard to get to the position where they can pay a guy to film, they
Exactly.
have
And kind of on top of that, I've been thinking this the whole time. I think a way to, and you're kind of on the right track. I think the biggest way to fund your disc golf careers and passion, what you actually want, is to get into a business that's disc golf related. I know that sounds way easier than said, but that's the reason Foundation can pay these guys. It's not, I mean, now it's solely on their channel. They could, but at first it's because of their disc sales, and they just reinvested it back into the business. Like for you working in a pro shop, I'm not saying go start your pro shop. I think starting a pro shop now is a lot harder than it's ever been. But I'm just saying, like, if you could somehow get a disc golf related job or start a business and just be in that realm, you'd be able to get a lot more opportunity and content out of it. So I think that's another way to become a full-time creator. Because technically, I'm not like a full-time creator, but my expos have to do with disc golf, and that's currently what I'm doing full time. And it's a huge undertaking, super stressful and all that, but because of the expos, I've had huge opportunities and great opportunities that have filtered down to my personal brand and content. So I think that's another huge way to kind of grow is, maybe if you're really serious about it, kind of just be like work for a company or just anything that's the reason. That's a huge reason why Foundation is so successful too, is because they realized how big content was and how much it meant in the future that they hired a full-time editor. I mean, they really invested in themselves, and obviously you can't do that with just in disc golf off the bat. You can't do that just like hey guys, I'm gonna pay you, I'm gonna invest in this. But so they had a side income. Basically what I'm saying is if you can somehow find a side income within disc golf, like the editing, the pro shop or whatever, I think it's a really cool way to make money in disc golf and then also get some cool opportunities while supplementing that kind of your own passion in brand side.
Congrats, Brad. This is our longest episode by far.
Oh, for sure.
But no, it's all good. This has been a good talk, really. I mean, like you're saying, it's so difficult to find other people to talk to about this like very specific thing that we try to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because talking to like even like, I feel like even talking to creators in a different niche, it wouldn't quite correlate because like disc golf we're so behind. Like it's so, but also they could be like, hey man, just do this. It worked everywhere else.
There we go.
like you guys are kind of saying, like I don't know. There's so much, just
for sure,
so much to it that it's.
Well, we'll have to have you on again and talk about it again because I mean, there's just so much to talk about for sure. I don't even think.
Yeah,
like 10 other questions we could talk about.
Yeah, that I learned a lot. I learned that Brody Smith allegedly started Good. No, I was just reading. I guess he made a channel with the guys, and then after it didn't work out, maybe I think they started after that. But I did not know that. That's crazy.
I went down the rabbit hole a few years ago, and it's like he essentially started a good before good, and then he was taking too big of a cut. And then they got mad and they were underage or something. And then they just ended up starting good, which is the same thing without Brody. And then now it's at. And then Brody, that's essentially why Brody left golf and went to disc golf, I think. Okay, don't make this a reel or anything. Hopefully Brody doesn't see this because I bet I just butchered that completely.
No, but it's cool. I mean, say what you want about Brody, man builds brands. He builds brands.
People hate on him so much they do not realize how like the guy's
foundation too
done a lot. I feel like a lot of disc golfers didn't ever see Brody when he was like almost like a mainstream celebrity, like in a and like in certain niches they don't realize that he's not just like this dude who like makes it like he was
I remember
like,
I was
trick
a kid.
shots were the number one like thing in YouTube. Like
crazy.
I was actually in one of Brody's videos. Like it was like a doubles battle like 4 years ago, maybe before I had ever like done content. It was like me, Thomas Gilbert, I want to say, Terry Roethlisberger, someone else, Ezra. And we all did like a doubles thing like 4 years ago. It was maybe Brody's first year of like disc golf.
I have it in the notes. I was going to ask you about it. We'll talk about it next episode you're on.
Yeah.
Jay Millie did his research.
I watched that
How'd
video.
You know that?
I like a year or two ago,
really?
I watched a video. I was like, is that Broderic? That's what? I was like, what is happening? You guys played at Fountain Hill, or not Fountain Hills?
It's quick
Arizona one.
At the other one.
Yeah.
Vista. Did Brody and Ezra used to have like a podcast on Foundation? Or at least maybe they had Ezra on it. Either way, they were like on a but this was
before?
like 2 years ago, maybe. They had a podcast and they're like, oh yeah, who is that? Like, this is when I like worked out actually. Like, who is that like Jack guy that we played with in Arizona? And then Ezra was like, oh, that was Coach Brod. And Brody was like, oh yeah, he's like maybe like 5'8". Like, I'm like, bro, I'm not 5'8". Put some respect on my name.
That's also the most random thing to remember about you ever or point out.
No offense to the people that are 5'8".
Well, it's just funny that he's like, oh, remember that guy? And he's like, his first thought is, oh, 5'8". It's not like, oh, this guy's funny.
Yeah, well, he was like, oh yeah, he's like short, like and like stocky and like jacked, and I'm like above average height, but chill, like, dude.
That's hilarious.
So good.
All right, well, this was good stuff. Thanks for coming on, Broderic. We really appreciate it. We'll definitely have you on again because there's more to talk about. Hopefully, next time you come on, you'll have
thanks for having me.
More happy stuff to talk about that you've found.
Yeah, for sure.
Found your stories.
Yo, this was a therapy section.
This was actually
exactly.
This was actually just disc golf therapy.
There we go,
content
dude.
creation.
Honestly,
title.
But so this is the type of stuff where I'm like, I used to kind of like make a video if I was feeling like this. I would be like, I would go talk about this, but then I feel like I don't know. I just stopped putting that stuff out there because I'm like, sometimes you say stuff and then you're just like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
But
They probably
that's
do a
what I'm
little
trying to
bit, but
encourage you,
I don't know.
dude.
So it's better
People
to do it
care
on
about
here.
you and your brand, and keep posting,
For
even if
sure.
post the
Yeah.
disc reviews. Yeah, post it, do whatever.
Totally.
It's
I
just
agree.
yeah.
It may
I
feel
think just do it.
I'm gonna go review the.
You have to.
That would be.
That would be
You
funny.
should
That
do
would
that
be
as a
hilarious.
meme. You should do that as a meme. That would be
Exactly.
so funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be sacco. This is a Star
That was-
Destroyer. There goes 450
Yeah, exactly.
feet,
Yeah.
guaranteed.
I'll do that just
Sick.
for you.
Sweet.
All
All
right.
right. Let's
There
wrap
we
this
go.
up. Bad boys. We're all set.
Yeah.
Sick.
We
Awesome.
have to.
Wait 1 second.
Uh,
Just kidding.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to Funsy. Hope you guys enjoyed. We had a good time.
yes.
Let us know down in the comments if you like us talking about disc golf content, and give us some hate comments so we can remember them
Please.
as well.
And
Please.
tell us
Inspire me.
who to interview and talk to next, and stuff like that. Also, shout out Hooligan Disc. I love you.
Shout out Armory.
Oh man.
You got any
Birdie,
shout outs,
right,
Brod?
Shout
There
out
you
to all the frisbee clubbers out there.
All right.
Thanks
We'll
for
see you.
watching.